Strange New Worlds, Episode 8 from Season 2, Under the Cloak of War, has to be one of the best episodes that I have seen, both from both seasons, 1 and 2. It was done nicely, it was written well, and it talks about the trials, the scars, the memories, the things that we leave behind and what we take with us after going through such tragedies as war. The Enterprise has been ordered to pick up a very special passenger, Ambassador Da Ras, son of Raul, Klingon, former Klingon general who has switched sides over to Starfleet and has become an ambassador. He just secured a peace treaty ending war between 3 planets in the Prosperous system. And now the Enterprise is tasked with taking the ambassador to Starbase 12. Now, as the captain has pointed out in his log, most of the people under his command have not served in the Klingon War. Only a few have. And this general was on the same planet that 3 of them were serving on when a massive battle took place, a butchering of... It was just an epic war and a massive casualties and bodies all over the place. Erica Ortegas definitely makes her feelings known about how much she does not trust the ambassador. Feels like he's just playing a game, just hiding and waiting for some major event to happen so he can reveal his true colors. Dr. M'Benga and Nurse Chapel are going to be the key focus, the key points of interest in this episode, especially the doctor here. And all the flashbacks that we get. This episode is just so sad in so many ways. The heartache that this man went through and the secrets that he has kept throughout his years of service. Pike takes the ambassador on a tour of the ship where they meet up with Spock, who is making his first attempt at Ratagino. And he informs the ambassador, Ra, who would prefer to be called that throughout the rest of the episode. He informs Ra that he had contact with Klingons recently and became very fascinated with their culture and wants to learn more about it. Ra's response is definitely one we should be paying attention to.
There's nothing to experience. They are a warmongering race, limited by ideology.
That is definitely not something that you would expect to hear from a Klingon warrior. When he goes to reach for the cup, he burns his hand, which is a complete shock to everyone there. And the ambassador shrugs it off and says, don't worry about it. The one thing Klingons have is a tolerance for pain. Spock apologizes. It's all his fault, but he says it was just some kind of a coding error. Temperature of the cup wasn't regulated properly, I guess. So they went off to sickbay to get a dermal regenerator. But when they walk into the sickbay, M'Benga's there, and he sees the general. All these flashbacks, all these voices start coming back to him about the war, about his time trying to fight the general there. And he just does not handle it well. Like any other episode of any Star Trek series, whenever there's an ambassador aboard, they do have a nice little meal to celebrate the delegate's arrival and to show their appreciation for him. The one thing I absolutely loved about this episode was when they did the flashbacks to when M'Benga and Chapel met on this planet and the war that they were going through, the battles they were fighting through. It made me feel like in some ways, it reminded me of MASH and how you had the hospital there, the mobile hospital, casualties coming in at all hours of the day and night, no rest for the weary. Any moment you could be on your toes. This gave me the feeling of watching MASH. So because the ambassador had issues in another station, Starfleet has issued orders that all war veterans need to somehow interact with the ambassador, which is not sitting well with the doctor, considering his past history and all the bloodshed that he witnessed. Day in and day out, the doctor has to watch all these innocent people coming into his hospital, dying, going away with massive scars, no dermal regenerators to help heal their wounds. They're left with the scars. And one of the soldiers is like telling him, I wish we could put an end to this. And the doctor's pretty honest about it. He says the Klingons are bloodthirsty. They have conquered almost every planet in the system, and they will not go back to Kronos. Spock, on the other hand, is having issues of his own with Chapel, because Chapel is very much affected by the ambassador being on board, and Spock just doesn't pick up on the sensitivity that she and the emotion that she's going through right now, and pretty much tells him, I need to be alone to deal with this. The sparring session between the two of them, it was very well done. In other words, I'm not talking about the fighting, but I'm talking about the dialogue between the two of them. Ra's whole purpose in all this is to invite the Doctor to become his partner, an equal in standing up and showing the galaxy that the Federation and the Klingons can unite, and that we can use this tragedy at Jagal as a way of uniting us together, putting an end to the past. But the Doctor is just not having it, because the past, you just can't get past what happened on that planet. And Menge asks, can I ask you anything? Ask me anything you like. Is it true that you killed all your men? The ambassador replies, yes. When I heard about the atrocities they were committing, I killed all my men. Which is why the Klingons rejected him, and he became the Butcher of Chakal. He claims that he stood up for the nameless. The more flashbacks we get, the more we learn that the Klingons were even killing off children. But, in quoting Worf, in war, there is no greater honor than victory. And the Klingons, victory means going in full blast, killing anything in sight to achieve your goal. The general, or the ambassador, comes to visit the Doctor one last time to beg him, please join me in my quest. Don't let the pain of the past come between what can be an incredible future. Join me. Let me help you heal. And the Doctor is just begging him, please leave me alone.
Ruin your soul. You gave the order. Anyone not a Klingon soldier is the enemy.
So it turns out that Mbega, and the Doctor, was the one who butchered all these Klingons in his attempt to get to Ra there. And the guards just blocked him as the ambassador, or the Klingon general, got away. Mbega tells him, all this, I went looking for you and I could never find you. All this time, you have been taking credit for my sins and trying to wash your blood off and try to make yourself look beautiful and glorious at the expense of my anger, my sin, my rage. And now you want to come to me for absolution? The Doctor is just so fed up with this conversation. And he tells him, I asked you to leave me alone. And a fight breaks out, and the ambassador is killed. Chapel covers for the Doctor. When she goes to the inquiry with Pike, she says that Ra came to talk, and when the Doctor refused to listen, that set him off, and he tried charging the Doctor, and the Doctor defended himself and killed him. Pike and M'Benga have this little conversation here about whether the whole fight got out of hand. Maybe there's something that the Doctor's not telling him. And they go into a little discussion about that everyone deserves the rights. Starfleet believes in second chances. And the Doctor's response is, who speaks for the kids? Who speaks for the murdered victims that what this monster did? And then he tells Pike, you have a unique way of looking at things. You have not seen what I've seen. You're looking at everyone as if they have innocent eyes. Everyone can be redeemed. I, on the other hand, have seen the other side of those eyes, and I pretty much know there are some monsters that are not worthy of forgiveness. And that pretty much is the 8th episode, The Cloak of War. Very good episode with a dark, tragic tale to tell. And it also shows how some things in our past, depending on how bad they are, it just shows that some things just you can't let go of. And it results in some very violent things that can happen. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to end it right here. And then if you liked it, click the like and subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to the channel. And if you have, thank you so much. It is greatly appreciated. And until the next time, my friends, God bless.